Hello everybody and welcome back to another new video. It's me, Will, and as you can see, I'm on the road again. I am just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and yeah, I'm right outside a McKays store here in a very rainy and gloomy day here in Nashville. Um, I don't think I'm gonna make this a full-blown record shopping in Nashville type of video because I don't know how many spots I'll be able to visit. But I'm gonna try to go to some spots that are close to where I am, just outside of Nashville, and with the time that I have, because I don't really have that much time left in the day. But we'll see how the day goes. And of course, I'm gonna be taking you with me. But if you remember, a few months ago, I did a record shopping in Knoxville video. And in that video, I visited a McKay store like this one, the one in Knoxville. And it was one of the craziest stores that I've ever been to. Massive warehouse style bookstore and CD shop and record shop. And since then, I was always very curious to see how the other locations are, if they're the same or they're smaller or they're different. So of course, my first stop was to go here to the McKays in Nashville. So we'll see how that goes and if I find something good in the McKays Nashville location. So yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and check it out. All right, so I'm back from McKay's, and um, that place was as crazy as I thought it would be. Huge, massive place, very similar to the one in Knoxville. Most of it is going to be a bookstore, so in case you're looking for a really good used bookstore, this is the place for you because it's a massive place with tons of books. There were lots of people browsing through the books. That's going to be your first floor. And then the top or the balcony that surrounds the edges of the place is going to be your music section. So that's where you find all your vinyl, your CDs, and your music DVDs as well. Huge selection of vinyl as well as CDs. I thought that the vinyl was a little bit overpriced. Some of the records were not in great shape. But I still was able to find a couple of records. And I found actually a lot of CDs because I thought that the CDs were very fairly priced. But yeah, I'll be showing you those records and CDs at the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. This store in particular had actually a really good electronics section, which I don't think the one in Knoxville had. A lot of really cool vintage electronics like old cameras and things like that. And it also had like a music section where you could find some guitars and microphones and musical instruments like that, which I thought it was interesting. Really cool store. This is the kind of store that you want to spend hours browsing through their inventory. Really worth checking out in case you're in the area. But now we're gonna go to the next stop. All right, to me, there's no trip to Nashville complete without a quick visit to Third Man Records. I was lucky enough to find a good parking spot right here at the front. I don't know if you can see it there of the entrance. Yeah, I always love coming here, checking out all the cool stuff in the walls, and of course the records and the record booth and all that. There's a couple of records from Third Man that I've been waiting to buy here, so hopefully I'll find them there. And yeah, I'll be right back. All right, so Third Man Records was a great success. I was able to pick up the one record that I really been wanting to get from Third Man for a long time. They had it there at the shop, so of course I had to pick it up, among a few other things that I will show you at the end of the video. And as usual, super fun to just browse around the shop, seeing all the cool stuff in the wall. And I did notice that they have something different at the shop, at the very back of the store. I think they now have a full-blown music recording studio there, but I'm not sure exactly how it works or if it even is a studio. I don't know. But it did look different than last time I was here for sure. All right, I think the next stop is going to be one of my favorite record shops in Nashville, which is going to be Grimeys. All right, guys, so I'm back here at the hotel room after a full day of music shopping in Music City. I couldn't get any footage at Grimeys because it was a little bit of a small store and it was really crowded, and I always feel a little bit awkward recording when there's a lot of people around you, so I couldn't get any video there, but I will put a picture right here of the outside. I always loved how they put these really cool murals outside the walls of the store, promoting the new records that just came out and even having some of the older records as well. It is by far my favorite record store in Nashville. A really cool record store to find newer type of records. So total I went to 3 stores, McKays, Third Man Records, and Grimeys. I picked up a total of 4 LPs on vinyl, plus 1 EP, and a whole bunch of CDs, most of them from McKays. They had crazy great prices at McKays. So yeah, let's go ahead and check them out. Let's start off from my pickups at McKays. This vinyl record from Cheap Trick. This one's called Dream Police, and it came out on Epic Records in 1979. I am slowly building my Cheap Trick collection, and this one was one of the ones that I needed, especially from the early records. Only 13 bucks. I don't know if it's an original or not. I haven't looked into detail on it, but it does come with a nice gatefold. And the record was in really good condition as well. And I actually was streaming this record on my way back to the hotel from the record shops. And it's a killer record, especially the very first, or the side A of the album. Dream Police, Way of the World, Gonna Raise Hell, and The House is Rocking. Lots of bangers in that side of the record. I love that part of the album. And I also recognized the very last song in the album, Need Your Love, kind of like a slower ballad, but it was included in a lot of the greatest hits compilations that I also own from Cheap Trick. Great record again, Cheap Trick with Dream Police. And by the way, this is their 4th album, 4th studio album, and the record that came out right after Live at Budokan. It was hugely commercially successful, of course. And speaking of Cheap Trick, I also picked up this EP. This one's called Found All the Parts. And this one came out in 1980 on Epic Records as well. 10-inch EP, only has 4 songs in it. Came in on just standard black vinyl. Also on Epic Records. I love that picture of Bunny Carlos there in the labels on side B. I don't know much about this one. All I know is that it's 4 live songs from that era, from 1979 or 1976 all the way to 1979. As you can see there from the artwork. I always love the typewritten artwork or the logo of Cheap Trick here in the records. For $2, can't beat it. I had to pick it up. All right, next, I'm going to show you real quick the CDs that I got at McKays, because there's a lot of them. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want this video to be too long. Just real quick, first of all, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. This is their last album, Hypnotic Eye. And it came out on Reprise Records in 2014. I remember when this record came out, and I remember streaming it and loving it. But for some reason, I never picked it up, a physical copy. Glad to finally add it to my collection. $2 for Hypnotic Eye, can't beat it. Another CD that I picked up for $2, Rilo Kiley, Under the Black Light. And this one came out on Warner Brothers in 2007. I actually own the vinyl version of this album that came out on Record Store Day. I think it was last year. Much needed repress of the record on vinyl. I used to own this one on CD, but I think I lost it many years ago because I remember having this CD with the kind of like the clear purple case or jewel case. And this is a totally killer record. Awesome album from Rilo Kiley. Great indie rock from 2007. I also picked up a record from Alex Lahey. If you watch my channel, you know that I am a big fan of Alex Leahy, and this one's called I Love You Like a Brother, and this one came out in 2017 on Dead Oceans Records. This one was a little bit more expensive, $5, but I think it's worth it because I have streamed this record before and it is totally killer. Great indie rock from Australia. And actually Alex Leahy's last album that came out last year made it to my top 10 albums of 2023. So I'm glad to add some of her older material to my collection, even if it's on CD. Also picked up this CD by the Ravionettes. $2 for, what is this one called? Pretty in Black, I think. Pretty in Black. And this one came out in 2005 on Sony BMG Records. I'm a big fan of the Ravionettes. I love their style, kind of like a garage rock, low-key garage rock duo, female vocals, great guitars, great vocals. Glad to add this one also into my collection. Also, and this is the last one actually that I picked up at McKays. This one's from Amy Mann, and this one's called Lost in Space. And it came out on Super Ego Records in 2002. I actually don't know anything about this album. All I know is that I love Amy Mann. I have a few of her records on my collection, mostly on CD, and I love all of them. And this one came in kind of like in the same style as The Forgotten Arm. Kind of like a book right here with comic strips. Kind of like telling a story. So I feel like she is kind of like a concept record, kind of like the Forgotten Arm was. So really looking forward to listening and reading this one as well. Again, Amy Mann with Lost in Space for 95 cents. That's a steal. But yeah, those are all the records and CDs that I picked up on McKays. Let's check out the ones that I picked up at Third Man Records. And this is the record that I've been looking for a long time. I remember when this one came out, completely missed out on it, especially on the like the first edition of the record. Finally picked it up, The Hives live at Third Man Records. I'm a huge fan of The Hives, especially of them playing live. This one came out in 2020, obviously on Third Man Records. But I think the actual show from the recording was actually done in 2019. I guess you could call it almost like an EP because it only has 7 songs. But it has some of the greatest songs from The Hives. And they also played at the Blue Room in Nashville at Third Man Records. It's a really cool record. And this is one of the records that is called, that they recorded directly to acetate. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but I think they recorded directly into the material that is used to make the actual vinyl record, which I thought it was really cool. But I'm not sure exactly how that works. Really looking forward to spinning this one. It has one of my favorite songs of The Hives. Song number 2 right here, Walk Idiot Walk. Love that track. And then I only picked up one more thing at Third Man Records. It's a CD. I had to pick up the new CD from Jack White. This one's called No Name. It was at a really good price, only $13 for a brand new CD. And if you watch my videos, you know that I already own the vinyl version of this one. I actually picked up the special indie record store version of No Name a few months ago. But I liked it so much that I decided to buy it also on CD so I can have the digital copy of the album as well as something to listen to in the car. Maybe I'll listen to it on my way back home tomorrow. But yeah, those are all my music pickups from Third Man Records. I also, since I was there, I always loved looking around all the different kind of stuff that they have there, like all the souvenirs and knickknacks. And I had to pick up a Polaroid film for my Polaroid camera. A big Polaroid fan, big fan of analog and instant photography. And this used to be called the Third Man Records edition, but for some reason they changed the name a few years ago to just yellow film. So you create kind of like pictures that are duochrome, so it's just yellow and white, or yellow and black instead of black and white. Really cool film from Polaroid in case you're interested in that kind of photography. But yeah, those were all my pickups from Third Man Records. Always a blast being there, seeing all the different stuff in the walls, and really great thing that Jack White is doing there in Nashville. All right, so these are my pickups from Grimeys, which, like I said before, is my favorite record store in Nashville. This is the record that I've been looking for. Is the new record from Pinhead Gunpowder, and this one's called Unt, and it came out just a few weeks ago. I think in October of 2024 this year, and it came out on 1234 Go Records. And if you are not familiar with Pinhead Gunpowder, it is the side project of course, Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day, but he is not the main guy in this band. He's just a guitar player and he sings the songs, but he doesn't write the songs in Pinhead Gunpowder. The main guy in Pinhead is a guy named Aaron Comet Bus, a guy that was also very well known in the Bay Area in the punk scene because of his the zines that he used to write back in the 90s. And of course, from Pinhead Gunpowder, he's also the drummer, and he writes all the songs for Pinhead Gunpowder. They were pretty active back in the late 90s all the way to the early 2000s, and they haven't released anything since like 2000 and I'm gonna say 2007 or 8, because I remember when the last single came out from Pinhead Gunpowder, and I bought it on 7-inch. I actually buy everything that they release because I love it. Most people will describe it as kind of like a faster, punkier version of Green Day. So Billy Joe is, of course, one of the singers in the band, but he's not the only singer. There's also Jason White. He also plays guitars at Green Day. He also sings some of the tracks in Pinhead Gunpowder. And it's a great combination. It's fast-paced punk rock, very melodic, as usual, coming from the vocals from Billy Joe Armstrong. And this record, to be honest, the first time that I listened to it, I didn't get too much into it. I quite didn't like the title track. I thought it was a little bit too poppy. I didn't really like it too much. I was like, am I gonna like this record or not? But after a few listens, I ended up loving this record. It is actually one of my favorites of the year so far. Fantastic new album from Pinhead Gunpowder. If you check out one track from this record, check out the second to last song called Trash TV. I love that song. And when I was checking out and I was buying that record, they actually gave me this right here, a flexi disc, a promo flexi disc for the title track and the single of the record, Unt. So as you can see, it's one of the flexi discs, clear red, and yeah, it's a promo one, so it has all the information about the new album here on the sticker. And I remember when they announced the record, the record label announced this flexi disc that they were going to give out to some select stores. But I thought that they were all gone because it's been several weeks since the record came out, but apparently they had at least one more left there at Grimeys. So glad to add it to my Pinhead Gunpowder collection. And now my Pinhead Gunpowder collection is officially complete again. Another record that I picked up at Grimeys is this one. This is the last one that I picked up on vinyl. A band called Perennial, and this one's called Art History. And I believe it's a fairly new band. I think it's their second or third studio album. They're from the New England area. And this one came out just earlier this year in 2024 on Ernest Jennings Record Company. I learned of this band from watching a video from the Vinyl Douche. Like most people out there in the VC, I find lots of great bands from watching the Vinyl Douche's videos. And this one was one of the bands that really caught my attention because they are a very punky or kind of like an experimental punk rock band where a lot of their songs are very simple with just the guitars and the vocals, but they do experiment with a little bit of keyboards and different sounds and effects in their music. And most of the tracks you can hear that the vocals are a little bit distorted with a kind of like an effect of like a megaphone, like they're singing through a megaphone, which I thought it was really cool. Also, male and female vocals combined throughout the record, which is something that I really love in a band. Really interesting and great new record from Perennial. Check it out in case you haven't. This one's called Art History. And yeah, those were all the pickups on vinyl from Grimeys. I did pick up 3 CDs from Grimeys. I had to pick up this one as soon as I saw it. The Replacements Stink, the Stink EP, which I think some Replacements fans will consider this a full-length album. I'm not exactly sure. You tell me out there, any Replacements fans. But this one came out in 2008 on Rhino Records. This was a huge hole in my Replacements collection because this is one of the few that I don't have from them. And then I also realized this gold stamp promo. You might be able to see it there. A promo copy on CD. This one has one of my all-time favorite replacement songs, which is Kids Don't Follow. Fantastic song. Kind of like a punkier, one of the punkiest songs from the Replacements. I love that track. And total of 12 songs throughout the record, which are, most of them are very short. So that's why I think it may be an EP, but I think it's considered an actual full-length album from the Replacements. Again, this is the Stink album from, I said before that it came out in 2008, but that's not right. This must be a repress. I think the original one came out maybe like 1980 something. I'll put it here in the description, but it came out on Twin Tone Records, of course. And I also picked up, speaking of the Replacements, I picked up a solo album from Chris Mars. This one's called 75% Less Fat. I always love the title of this one. This is the record that he released as a solo artist right after he quit the Replacements. And this one came out in 1993 on Smash Records. Really cool to find a new or a CD or a physical copy of a Chris Mars record. Because they can be a little bit hard to find. I don't think any of these have been, or any of his solo albums have been repressed in the past, especially the stuff that he released after he quit the Replacements back in the 90s. This is one of the few, one of the really good records from Chris Mars. It has, I remember a song called, I think, which one was it? Stuck in Rewind, I think is the very first track in the record, which really caught my attention. Anyways, a really good record from Chris Mars, 75% Less Fat. And last but not least, had to pick up this one too. Jesse Malin, Glitter in the Gutter. Love this album. I actually own a copy of this one on vinyl. I bought it, I think, earlier this year when they repressed it. This one came out originally in 2007 on Adeline Records. It can be, I guess, a little bit hard to find now on CD because I don't think it has been repressed on CD at least. But I love that record so much when I got it on vinyl that I had to pick this one on CD too, so I can also have the digital copy, so I can play it in the car as well. I don't know, great record from Jesse Malin, great singer-songwriter from New York, which I really hope he's recovering because I think he had some serious health issues a few months ago. There was the whole program or kind of like a Kickstarter thing to help him pay his medical bills. I'll put some of the stuff in the description so you can check it out. But anyways, that was my last pickup from Grimeys, and I also had to show you, of course, the stickers that I got. I love that the record sticker, and this one is actually my favorite. I love this one. Very kind of like a vintage postcard kind of design. Nashville, Tennessee, Grimeys, USA. So yeah, as always, as usual, a great time there shopping at Grimeys. Again, I can spend hours just looking at the records there. But anyways, those were all my pickups from Music City. Kind of like just a quick trip to Nashville, just to see what I could find. Let me know what you think about my pickups in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.